Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant the verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena,
Devan bhavayatanena,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
Taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yo bhungte stena eva saha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Yajna shishtashinah santaha,
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi,
Muchyante sarva kilbishaihi,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Ye pachantyatmakaranat,
Annad bhavanti bhutani,
अन्नाद् भवन्ति भूतानि
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
यज्ञाद्भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञाद् भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last session, we were seeing the first step in this chain which he is giving. What is that chain? From karma to food. Of course, here he uses the word food, annam, but philosophically, from a sadhana point of view, it means much more. It symbolizes your productivity, what you contribute in life. See, it is not only the Bhagavad Gita, all the scriptures have been given in coded language, coded style. Coded language doesn't mean Sanskritam language is coded, no. The style which has been used is coded. That is how any technical textbook will be. If you take a mathematics book, it will be full of formulae. Just some symbols. If you don't understand the significance of those symbols, those formulae will mean nothing to you. You'll just think somebody has come and written something and gone. What is the meaning of all this? So if you take a music book, it will be full of notations. Whether you talk of Indian classical or whether you take the Western classical, whatever it is, whatever type of music, it will, you see, in Indian classical, it will be in the form of swaras. Now, if you read that, you will not understand anything. But if you give it to a musician, especially an expert musician, just by seeing those notations, those swaras, he will tell you what exactly is the tune of that particular song. So it requires a lot of training to be able to decode the message, decode the real message. So it's the same thing with respect to the scriptures also. All these verses which we are studying, they are all like notations of a song. I remember there was one man who wanted to learn Carnatic music. So he went to a shop and bought a Carnatic music book. He bought a Shruti box for himself and then a Carnatic music book. At that time, the internet and all that was not there, So he bought the basic book, the basic lessons of Carnatic music. And when he came home and opened it, it was all just sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. And then sa, sa, re, sa, re, sa, re. It's different permutations, combinations of that. These are the initial lessons. Then when he switched on the Shruti box, now he didn't know how to proceed. He had a basic understanding of music. So the initial lessons, somehow he managed. But when it got to the variations of re, variations of ga and all that, different ragams, when he flipped through all that, he was unable to really understand anything. What is the difference between re 1 and re 2? Now, how can you find it out by yourself? It is impossible. He was telling me. Then what he did is he went to a Carnatic music teacher. And she practically demonstrated to him the difference between these notes, He said that is when he began to understand the basics of Carnatic music. And when the song is given in the form of a notation, with the various notations, now sa, re 2 will be given, then ga 1 will be given. So which one should I, use? Which sound should I produce to get that tune? All that he slowly learnt. It takes many years. Initially, they will just ask you to keep repeating one, they'll just take up one ragam, the basic thing which is used in Carnatic music, Maya Malava Gaudam, and then they'll just keep asking you to sing those swaras in different permutations, combinations, just for you to get a feel of it. But as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, it's like an ocean. And what is interesting is, very, very top musicians, what they say is, even when you reach great heights in music, you should not leave the sadhana, or there by sadhana they mean the practice of music, singing every day, a practice. They say you should not leave the practice of the basic notes, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. Actually, very, very top musicians, when you hear their interviews, they say there is nothing like mastery over music. You just go on learning and you go on progressing. If you think about it, this is true with any field. Can you ever say, I have mastered this field 100%? A person who says that actually has not really gone into the depth. So when it is true with all the worldly arts and sciences, it is so much true with respect to the spiritual science. So when you see those notations and when you try to decipher those notations by yourself, you will invariably go wrong. you will make a lot of mistakes. And there will be nobody to correct you also. So an intelligent person will combine both. He will take guidance from the Guru, and he will also put in a lot of individual practice. That combination will give you the best results. So all these verses are in the form of notations or codes. Just as you need an expert musician to be able to decode the tune, you need the yogic approach. You need a yogi to use the yogic approach to be able to decode the deeper messages lying within these verses. It's a complete specialization. See, the great masters, the yogis, the siddhas, the great saints, they completely gave their life in order to eke out these messages. That is how the yogic approach evolved. Just to learn the chanting part of the Vedas, that itself takes many years with the right intonation and all that. That is another specialization. But that doesn't mean one will necessarily grow spiritually. When it comes to the sadhana part, it is a lifetime research for these great masters. So what you are getting here is the outcome of the efforts of great masters, lifetime efforts of these great masters, where full time they got into this, the yogic approach, and only then they were able to derive the messages. One of the key aspects of the yogic approach is meditation, where you meditate with the verse and get to the source energy. That is the most difficult part. So when it is explained to you, it will become easier because you're all learning this part-time. So a mere part-time effort is not enough to figure out this whole thing. And after figuring out, how will you know whether it is right or wrong? What if you make a mistake and then after many years you realize that? So many years will get wasted. So the real study or research of the scriptures cannot be done part-time. It has to be done full-time. And it is not merely the scriptures. The real research of any field has to be full-time. But the application can be part-time. See, even in the field of science, the great scientists, they devote all their time, effort, energy into their research work, and they discover various truths pertaining to science. In every field, that is what these research people do. But all these researches are external, with respect to the external world. So our yogis have put in enormous effort like that, but internally. So when you study the Bhagavad Gita externally, if you do an external research, in many universities they teach externally. That is again reducing the Bhagavad Gita to an external science, and the very understanding is also external. But it is only when you do the meditation, when you do the sadhana, when you go deep within, connect with the source energy, and when you get to the energy of these verses, that you have done true research, spiritual research. Why I am mentioning this is, one sadhak has written a beautiful mail last week. He is he has done his PhD on religion, that is the comparative studies of various religions. And he has spent his entire time in that. Very knowledgeable person, and he has been attending these sessions for, he says, for the last 3 years. What is interesting is, he says, in all that research which I did, the comparative studies between that religion, I felt I had gone into a lot of depth, even with respect to the Bhagavad Gita at that time when I did that research. But in the last 3 years, when I've been attending these sessions, I found that I have not even gotten into probably even 5% of the depth of what the Bhagavad Gita is. I genuinely appreciate the gentleman who has sent this mail, because his realization is so true, and he has been very frank about it. See, it is only when a person has done that research, and when he has, when he has put in a lot of effort in that direction, it is, and then when he comes across the yogic approach, he's able to very clearly see the difference in depth. He has even mentioned, in passing, saying that now I am a little shy to say I have done PhD in all this. That is a very positive sign. It means you're becoming a good sadhak, because the greatest of masters, they never said we know everything. They never took credit for anything. So that kind of scholastic knowledge will not really help in spiritual evolution. See, sir, I know some people who know all the theory of Carnatic music. They'll be able to take a class, not practical demonstration, the theory. What is sa, what is re, how many beats are there, what are the different permutations, combinations, everything they'll be able to tell you. This ragam contains how many swaras, which variations of those swaras, everything they'll be able to tell you, but all theoretically. Practically, if you ask them to sing, they will sing horribly. So similarly, a person will be, it's possible that a person has the panditvam, is a great pandit of the scriptures. He'll be able to explain everything. But practically, what is he following? For that, it is not enough if you do that external research. You have to use the yogic approach and decode the deeper essence. So this particular verse is a classic example of what we call as coded language. It's like a formula, with the entire verse consists of many formulae. So when he says yajna karma samudbhavaha, that is one formula. You need to understand it and then you have to see the application. So if you were to do it by yourself, you can. See, theoretically it's possible, but then you will have to leave everything else and really focus all your energies. Then there is a possibility, but can you really do all that? That is why we are so grateful to all the great masters who went through the rigorous disciplines. They did that tapas and they received this higher wisdom and then they gave it to us. We are very easily getting this wisdom. So when we are studying a verse like this, it is very important for you to not to come to immediate conclusions. If two ones are there, immediately don't conclude, oh, 1 plus 1, the answer should be 2. No, it may be 1, 1, 11 also. There are so many possibilities. So the more open you keep your mind, the more of this wisdom you will be able to gain. The moment you conclude and then you feel, now I know, I've clinched this, then you're closing your mind completely and you're not allowing the deeper wisdom to get into your system. This is something which you need to remember, because several formulae have been given here and we'll be getting into each one in a deep way and seeing the practical application in your sadhana, in your life. So for that, from your side, you should have your mind completely open. And what is being given in these Sunday sessions, you cannot get it anywhere else. You cannot get it in any book or, no, it's not, because this is a yogic approach, no? It's a meditative approach. So it is only through meditation and sadhana that the great yogis derive all this. So, yajna karma samudbhavaha. Sacrifice arises out of action. So last week we were seeing bhava basically means rising, and here he has used the word samudbhava. Samudbhava. What does that imply? We just started getting into that. Today we will go into more depth. So first of all, the word sam. So sam is usually added as a prefix to denote intensity. When you do something, that is one thing. When you do the same thing intensely, then the prefix sam can be added to that word. So why is he using that word sam here? I did give you one dimension of ud in the last session, and we'll be seeing some more dimensions. But before that, Why should he emphasize on the intensity? In the first step, the reason is, I had explained to you the various things like the principle of inertia, how naturally an untrained mind is in a state of inertia, the consciousness is in a state of inertia, and you will have to come out of that inertia. So the first step is coming out of inertia and getting into a state of karma. I would say that is a pre-first step. He starts off with karma here, karma samudbhavaha, but he has given a clue by using the word, that prefix sam, intensely. So out of all the actions, the yajna is there. Yajna comes from, basically from actions. But in order to get into that state of action, karma, you need to overcome the inertia or tamas. Now, if you have to overcome your inertia or tamas, it requires enormous effort. It's not so easy. See, tamas is a quality which pulls you down fully, completely, from all directions. It doesn't allow you to put effort. Physically, it will drain your energy. Mentally, it will, it will keep generating various thoughts of depression so that you don't get into action. Intellectually, it will, it will give rise to various analysis, why you shouldn't act. That's a problem with tamas. From all levels, it will attack you. So, if you have to overcome your tamas and get into a state of karma, that requires enormous effort. What in physics they call as escape velocity, So, the gravity keeps pushing us down. Every object is attracted to the center of the earth. Now, if you want to fly up, how does a rocket go up? So, it has to neutralize the force of the gravitational pull, and only after that it can move up. So, that is called the escape velocity. Similarly, the tamas is constantly pulling you down, the inertia. So, again, inertia is of two types. When you are not in action, action means the karyam karma, the duties of life. You are escaping from your duties. That is one kind of inertia. And then when you are doing your duties and doing them just mechanically, without any bhavana, without any feeling, without understanding what all that is, mechanical activity, that is also a state of inertia. So, to get out of these aspects of inertia, which are constantly pulling you down, it requires you to put in a lot of effort, increase the escape velocity, as it were. You have to do a lot of tapas, the effort is required. So, to emphasize that idea of effort, he is using the word sam. Only if you put in intense efforts can you first of all get into the state of karma. Now, you may ask me, sir, all of us are acting. That's why I defined inertia quite extensively. Either people are shirking from duties, or people who are doing duties are doing that mechanically. It is a universal problem, tamas. Very rarely you find a person who does things purposefully. Then he has come into the state of karma. He is ready to move to the next stage, which is yajna. So the word some is extremely significant there, indicating the kind of effort which you need to put in order to overcome this gravitational force of tamas, develop that escape velocity so that you can fly, you can fly up, your consciousness can move up to greater heights of perfection. Actually, they say, the rocket, when the first rocket was launched, they say more energy was spent in overcoming that escape velocity than the entire journey. That much amount of force is required, that much amount of energy is required. So, some, it starts off with some, means the willingness, the effort which you are willing to put. See, when a master teaches, he will give the teachings to everyone, but whom will he be willing to guide personally, or whom would he train personally? One who is willing to put in that effort. If you go to a master and say, "Sir, everything, you are only everything," which means I am not, I am not going to put in any effort, then he will not waste his time, because in that time he can help somebody else who is genuinely putting effort. So you need to have that initiative, that willingness to come out of your comfort zone, and only then you can move from the state of inertia into a state of karma. See, the word karma has been used in a very broad sense, and this is applicable at the physical level, at the emotional level, at the speech level, at the thought level. All are different karmas only. If the physical action is physical karma, your speech is vachika karma, the action of words. Your emotions are emotional karmas. Thoughts are karmas at the thought level. So at all levels this is applicable. Now once you get into a state of karma, then there is that possibility. The possibility arises of refining your karmas, whether it is physical, at speech level, or emotional, or intellectual. And as the karma gets refined, it becomes yajna. Yajnaha karma samudbhava. What a brilliant construction, So what is that process of refinement? That is what we started last week. There he uses the word ud bhavaha. So the refinement is in your bhavana. It is not mere refinement of action externally. See, even refinement of action happens only when you refine your bhavana. So we are always talking of the internal change. Everything which they are talking about is an internal change. When they talk about detachment, they are not talking about physically giving up things. They are talking about the mental attitude of detachment. When they are talking about doing sadhana, it's not merely externally doing the sadhana. It is about internally doing your sadhana. You see, just because you play the yoga sankirtan every day and you are just sitting mechanically doesn't necessarily mean you are doing sadhana. You are externally you are doing all that, but as you progress you will begin to understand the subtleties. What is the energy? Everything you will start feeling. And when you keep attending the higher empowerment programs, then you will start getting a hang of what real sadhana is. and what is the meaning of releasing and how do you release, what is it that you are releasing, everything you begin to get a hang of over a period of time. So the refinement is that of your bhava. And what is that refinement? That is where this word wood is used. Some wood bhavaha. The word wood actually exactly tells you how you move from karma to yajna, the process of refining. And what is this refinement? Everything we get we get the clues from the word wood. So last week we started off with one dimension of wood. Wood means gain. So whenever you do any activity, again when I say activity, physical, verbal, emotional, or at the thought level, you keep that in mind, okay? So every time I don't need to keep repeating. I will keep repeating here and there because there is a tendency to forget. So whenever you get into any activity, now check your bhava. What is the bhavana attitude which I am having? Will this give me gain? The first dimension of would this gain? Will this give me benefit? That is, will this be beneficial to me in the long run? It's not only to me and others. If the answer is yes only, you should do that. If the answer is no, now through sadhana you will have to change the bhavana. I'll give you one example. Now supposing some problem is encountered by you and you get very depressed by that. Let's say you have a financial loss. You get very depressed. Now that is a reaction which happens to the mind. But as a sadhak, now what should you do? You should, you should train yourself to such an extent where you are able to see your own bhavana, what is happening inside. That is the strength of a yogi. You can achieve that through sadhana. That is when the real sadhana will start happening. You will become a real sadhak. So you observe that bhavana of depression within you. And then you apply this principle. Wood. Is this bhavana which I am going to carry forward from here onwards in all my activity? Because when you see a person who is depressed, will talk in a depressed way. So the vachika karma will also be influenced by that bhavana. It will feel in a depressed way, think in a depressed way, act in a depressed way. Everything will be influenced by that particular bhavana. So this bhavana, which is going to influence all my karmas, is this beneficial for me and others in the long run? Ask yourself. And you will get a clear answer, no. Then you tell yourself, let me choose the opposite bhavana. What is the opposite of depression? Cheer. And the moment you start choosing the opposite, then you are entering the realm of yajna. I am giving you one simple example. Like this now, you have to see in your life what are the various things, various emotions which you are choosing, the bhavana which you are choosing, which are actually not giving you long-term benefits. Rather, they are causing problems for you. Let's say you are very angry all the time. Now, once you have that bhavana, you will talk in an angry way, you will act in an angry way. You see, when a person is caught up with anger, supposing he wants to place an object on the table, how will he do it? He'll just throw it there with anger. Even when that person closes the door, He'll close it, he'll bang it and go. Every action, whether it's physical or verbal or emotional or the thought level, gets influenced by that bhavana. That is the power of bhavana. So again apply this would. Is this bhavana going to give me long-term benefit, that is to me and to others? No. It's going to give me harmful benefits. It will also harm others. Same thing with respect to depression also. It will harm me, it will harm others also, because when you are depressed, you will keep radiating that energy to everybody. So it will quickly go to the other person and it will pull the others around you also down. So then, what should you do? What is the opposite of that? Anger means calmness. So I choose that. Now when you say I choose that, it is not that next second now all anger will go away and now you will become very calm. See, this is the wrong expectation of sadhaks. Many sadhaks, they get into this result oriented spirit. When these things are explained to you every Sunday, remember, it is not that next second you are ready to practice all this. No, this is a lifetime practice. So just because you are attending these Sunday sessions and you are sadhak, you're doing sadhana, no, don't be so harsh on yourself. Don't expect your mind to be perfect. You will only get frustrated. Just lead a normal life and add these elements into your life, no? Yes, if you are getting angry all the time, or if you are getting depressed very frequently, or some other, if you are getting jealous, frequently, whatever be that negative emotion, yes, that is what you are having today. First accept that. And then you choose the opposite. Once you choose the opposite, that is an intention which you are giving, which you are showing. And then when you keep attending these Sunday sessions and when you keep doing your daily sadhana, over a period of time, that refinement will happen. The depression will get converted into cheer. The anger will get converted into calmness. Over a period of time, not one day. For some people, it may take several months also. So just because you understand and desire, from today onwards, I will not be angry. Some people, the moment you say, see, anger is not good. Okay, from this moment, I have left all the anger. That's a very dangerous thing, because the next moment that anger will double up or triple up and come with greater force. So approach this in a mature way. Please understand all this in a more deep way. Choosing is the first step. That is not the end of your sadhana. Thereafter you need to release all the blocks, all the karmic factors through your sadhana. That's why the empowerment programs are there. When you make use of that and associate yourself with the master's energy, slowly you will be able to convert all the karmas into yajna. Yajna means the bhavana has changed completely and you got established in that. So this is the first dimension of wood, gain. The next dimension of wood. Wood is a prefix which is used many a times to mean power. Now, what do we mean by power? When something is done in a powerful way, then we say wood. That is, we add the wood as a prefix. See here also, bhavaha, wood bhavaha means a lot of power has been added. So, among your activities, that is when you are approaching your activities, now you should ask yourself, this bhava which I am having, is this giving me power? Is it making me strong, or is it making me weak? See, all these will be interrelated, whether you look at it from a point of view of gain or benefit or power. We'll come back to the same point only. But these are all different dimensions, and when you understand all that, that will help you to internalize this wisdom. That's why I am covering a few dimensions. So even when we let's take the example of the bhava of depression. Will this weaken me or will this make me more strong? You yourself will get the answer. It will definitely weaken you. Will this give me more power? No. Supposing you have the bhava of constantly comparing yourself with others. Will that make you weak or will that make you powerful? Will that give you strength and power or will that give you weakness? The moment you ask yourself, it will give you so much of clarity. See, these are ways by which you can inspire your mind to do sadhana. Actually, I am giving you all the dimensions. Even if you are not able to pick up all the dimensions, it doesn't matter. But at least one or two which inspire you, that itself will start the process of refinement. So the entire sadhana is in refining the bhavana, the attitude. And the more and more refined and subtle you become, the more you are evolving spiritually. You are moving towards yajna. Unless we understand this step, this formula properly, there is no point in going to the next step, which is from sacrifice arises rain. The next one, no? Yajnat bhavati parjanyah. That step itself has no meaning unless you fully grasp the first step. So, here by power we are talking of internal power, the internal strength, the inner strength. See, ultimately sadhana is given by a master to the students so that the students can become very strong internally. So when you do your sadhana, you should become so strong internally to be able to face any challenge in life. What I am finding is, some sadhaks, I wouldn't say everyone, but some sadhaks, they are doing sadhana with fear. Oh, everything good should happen. But when they are saying everything good should happen, if you decode that energy behind that statement, subconsciously what they are saying is nothing bad should happen. So they are constantly fearing the negative. So as a result of that, they are sitting and doing yoga sankirtan sadhana. I am observing that energy. So I am putting this word of caution. I am also giving this suggestion. This is useful to all the sadhaks. Don't do the sadhana with that kind of a fear. See, we are doing sadhana not to prevent any negative thing from happening in life. How is that possible? You take the life of Lord Rama. Series of negative incidents only happened. You take the life of Lord Krishna. As soon as he was born in a jail. When he was young, some Rakshasas were trying to kill him. Kamsa had sent. Then he had to kill his own uncle Kamsa, who was a very evil person. And then when he grew up, he had to mastermind a world war. So many challenges in his life, if you see, very high level challenges. So what does that show? Nobody's life is free of all these challenges. Then why are we doing sadhana? So many reasons are there. One of the key benefits of sadhana is to develop that inner strength, power. That is the meaning of wood. So you see, the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana materials have been given to you, no? If say for example you take Lord Hanuman, immense power. Lord Muruga, immense power. Lord Ganesha, he is sitting quietly, but what amount of power. Bhagavan Vishnu, Bhagavan Shiva. Of course, the next Yoga Sankirtan series is going to be about the Shakti series will be coming out of the meditation. Everything has been revealed. So as the time comes, that will also start happening. When both the materials are available, I'll be teaching you the further intricacies of Yoga Sankirtan sadhana, the balancing of the two types of energies and all that. We'll be seeing that. So the point there is Shakti, the very word Shakti itself means power, energy. So if one god, have you ever seen in the Puranas a god is very weak? It's never possible. So as sadhaks, you should set examples to others. One person has sent a mail, sir, I am asking all my friends to attend these sessions, but they are coming and going, but they are not, the result is not satisfactory. That is because you are telling verbally. But how strong are you? Are you being a role model to them? If you become very strong, powerful, energetic, balanced, if you have that inner strength, if there is an issue and everyone is getting agitated and you are calm and you tell them this is how it has to be handled, if you practically show them, then you don't need to say so much, attend and all. They will automatically come and ask you. So your words will carry that Shakti, that power, when you develop that inner power. That is the meaning of wood. And how do you get this inner power? By refining your bhavana, by learning to discard those bhavanas which are actually weakening you and developing those bhavanas which actually give you that inner strength. So, wood bhavaha, very, very powerful. The very dimension itself means power. And we always keep saying, no, it's today's session, very powerful session. We had very powerful session. Which session is not powerful? Every session is powerful. Every session is deep. So when you learn this quality, when you apply this wood in your life, what will happen is you each and every action which you perform, whether it's at the physical level or words or emotions or thought level, they will all start becoming very powerful. You will become a very powerful magnetic personality. Your words will carry so much of power. Again, not external power, but internal power. It's not that you have to shout. See, some people think if you shout and talk now, that is more powerful. That is all external power, Even if you don't speak anything, Ramana Maharishi was just silent, but his presence was so powerful. It's the internal energy which we are talking about here. Okay. So that is the second dimension of wood. So first, would means gain or benefit. Second, it means power. The third dimension of wood means upward, always taking the direction of upward, taking the upward direction. So, whenever you perform any action, karma, now check your bhavana. The bhavana which I am having now, is it taking my personality upward, in the upward direction? Will I grow, or is it pulling me down? This is so important, because yajna is actually refining your activities in such a way that it starts pulling your mind, it starts pulling your personality up. So, whatever bhavana which I am having, that is the bhavana with which I am performing any action, is that really uplifting me? Is it helpful in uplifting others? See, for example, if you are gossiping about others, what is gossiping about others mean? See, you just sit behind the bar, that is, when the other person is not there, you are sitting and discussing all the negatives of that other person. So, what is your bhavana behind that? Just you're getting kind of an indirect temporary pleasure in putting the other person down. So then, as a sadhak, you ask yourself, is this bhavana really going to uplift me? By pulling another person down, am I actually moving up? That famous story, which they say, that incident which happened in Tenali Rama's life, when a line was drawn and everybody was asked to actually make this line longer without touching it. Nobody was able to do that. Then Tenali Rama came and he drew a smaller line there next to it. Now when this is small, this has become big. It's a very thought-provoking story. So we always think, by putting others down, now we are actually growing. That's an illusion which the mind creates for itself. So instead of putting energies, instead of focusing our energies on our upliftment, we are focusing our energies on pulling others down. Like this, so many bhavanas, so many thoughts, so many emotions you keep generating, which actually keep pulling you down. So instead, from this moment onwards, you should start putting effort to uplift yourself. See, every Sunday, the attempt is being made to uplift your mind. When you listen to these sessions, Sunday after Sunday when you are attending, what happens? Every Sunday your mind gets so uplifted. But then you find that during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday itself it starts coming down a bit, and then Wednesday, Thursday, slowly again the mind goes down. By Saturday it's fully down. That's why again immediately next week, Sunday, morning we have again pulling the mind up. This is a continuous process. Till you get established in the higher, this should go on. So the direction is very important. If you want to convert an action into yajna, that is, what is the difference between a normal action and yajna? Yajna is that activity which uplifts you, whereas a normal action is that activity which does not uplift you, it actually takes you down. So in spirituality, we lay a lot of emphasis on direction. It is not where you are that matters, but what direction you are going. If you are at 10% level and if you are moving up, it's excellent. If you are at 50% level but you are stagnating there or you are moving down, that is not good. A master never sees what level a student is in. He is willing to teach any student at any level as long as that student is willing to move up. The moment he finds the tendency to stagnate, it means the tamas has set in. No point. So, Vud means always striving to move up, constant growth. This is the principle, the Japanese call it the principle of Kaizen, continuous improvement, they say. So every day you should keep on improving, you should keep on growing. If you practice all this, believe me, you will be so entertained also. Life will not be boring at all, because when you start observing your own mind, your mind actually keeps projecting some of the best movies in the world. Sometimes these movies are horror movies, sometimes these movies are sorrowful movies. I'm saying the projector of your mind keeps projecting it. You're not today watching all that. That's why you require so much of external entertainment. But a yogi gets so tremendous entertainment just by observing his own mind. Sometimes angry scenes, Mentally you keep on playing, observe. The actual external life is very small, but the internal movies which you are playing is so much. A person comes and insults you and goes away. That happens just for, let's say, 30 seconds. But you keep playing that movie in a very intense way for years together in your mind. So when you start observing the movies of your mind, then you have stepped into a very high level of objectivity. And then comes releasing all those stories and movies which your mind is creating and projecting. And when you drop all these stories, all these movies from your mind and make your mind empty, then you attain the state of nirvana, total liberation. So again, this is not a one-day practice, this is a lifetime practice. Every day you keep on growing, you keep on lifting your mind. As he'll be saying later on, Krishna tells Arjuna in one of the later chapters, Uddare tatmanatmanam means one has to raise oneself by oneself. Krishna, no less a person than Krishna himself is saying, Arjuna, I can only guide you, but I cannot actually pull you up. You will have to pull yourself up. All the help will be provided. But you will have to put effort to move in that upward direction. This is one of the reasons why we light a lamp or we worship fire. Why? Because the fire has a tendency to always point up. Supposing you light let's say a candle, you light it, the fire will be pointing up. You turn it upside down, still the fire will come back up only. It will never point down. That is the quality of wood. Actually, it is a symbol of upward direction. So when you bow down to the fire, you are reminding yourself that the direction which I should take in life should always be upwards. So number one, gain or benefit. Number two, power, inner strength. And number three, upward direction. So three factors have been given to you. We'll stop with that today. You reflect on these three powerful factors which have been given to you. Tools, we can say. Tools to refine your bhavana. Now, first absorb these points. You can note them down. You send your points. I mean, all of you are doing that. The YouTube comment section, you're putting them down. So when I see that, I always see what is the energy pattern behind that, and if there is some energy mismatch and all that, the healing is immediately, specific healing is given. So that is one part. Then the next part, the other important homework which you need to do this week is see how you can practice these three tools in refining your bhavana in life. Just take up a few experiences. See, if you start doing it every minute, you will find it very difficult. You will get tired. So take some main experiences in life. Say your bhavana towards your spouse or your bhavana towards your office. Something like that, which is very important to you. And then see what is happening inside. What is the bhavana which I am having, and is it giving me and others benefit? Is it giving me and others power or strength? Is it pulling me up? Is it pulling others up? So when you begin to ask these questions to yourself, you will start gaining clarity. Again, now don't start criticizing yourself. Oh, my bhavana is bad, bhavana. See, self-criticism should be avoided. We are doing this entire analysis to purify ourselves, not to criticize ourselves. Then you bring the intention to build the opposite bhavana. That is the choice which you need to make. After doing that, as you keep doing this, and when you keep doing your daily sadhana, the yoga sankirtan, coupled with those empowerment meditations also, that is understood, So when you do your daily sadhana, what will happen is the daily sadhana will start removing all those unnecessary factors, unnecessary blocks from within your mind, and you will find that quickly your bhavana will start changing for the better. Your bhavana will change in such a way that you will get so much of benefit, you will develop inner strength, and your mind will start getting uplifted. So I want you to do some homework, put some effort in that direction, and then come back next week. We'll see two more dimensions of wood. So many are there, but I'm just picking up I picked up around 5. I think that should be more than enough for you to do your sadhana effectively. And then we will go further also. Okay. So before we do the meditation, I will take up one question. Humble pranams, Yogishri. Thank you so much for providing wisdom and blessings week after week. So even after attending so many sessions, doing daily sadhana, I am still unable to control my emotions when I things not going as expected. When I see things not going as expected. Last week I shouted angrily at a young teacher when I felt she was not doing her job properly, and when asked, it hurt my ego. I reacted instead of responding. I had been giving 1,000 chances to respond. I had been given 1,000 chances to respond, but finally my ego and anger took over me, and I regret really badly for my actions and feel sorry for the other person. I feel like I've created a fresh karma when you're teaching us about karmic surplus. I lose my sense at least once a year very badly like this, and do things which are irreversible and keep thinking and regretting about it for quite a while. And then when I think I have mastered my mind, I'm doing the same thing to hurt someone. Even people who are not in this yogic path seem to have better control of themselves. Very interesting question. This will be extremely useful for everyone. That's why I'm taking this up. What do I do now? How should I control my emotions? I am grateful for so many things in my life, much more than one can expect. I am experiencing reasonable good health, wealth, and amazing support from my family, and on top of that, Guru's blessings and God's grace. How do I learn not to take myself seriously and let go? Kindly help. Ananta Koti pranams to you. Yours truly. Now, no necessity to say who has asked this question, because I think this is a common question. Many sadhaks have this in their minds. See, first of all, actually I have given you the answer in today's session. See, when you say, what you have said is, even after attending so many sessions, doing daily sadhana, I am still unable to control my emotion. You are talking about the external sadhana. Now, to get a hang of the inner sadhana is going to take time. So I have given those points, you can think about, but I'll also give a few more things. The first thing, which the energy which is there in this entire question, in this set of questions which you've asked, is that tendency of being too result oriented and being too harsh with yourself. As I told you, just because you start attending these sessions, you start doing some sadhana, yoga sankirtan sadhana, doesn't mean now you got two horns now. Yes, I become a sadhak. So what happens is, without your knowledge, you started putting too high expectations on yourself. That is why, see, it has gone to this extent where you are saying even people who are not in this yogic path seem to have better control of themselves. There you are comparing yourself with others. The moment you start comparing yourself with others, that is not sadhana, no? That is doing the opposite of sadhana. That is why I am telling you, sadhana is not restricted to merely attending these sessions. What are you absorbing? What are you putting into practice? So many things are there. Similarly, sadhana is not merely playing the yoga sankirtan meditation material and just simply mechanically listening to it. No. It takes a while to get the hang of it, and especially if you have a lot of rajas, which is what you are having, there will be impatience. So you are exhibiting so much of impatience, you want results. So being result oriented actually becomes a block. So my request to you, I am not even getting into the exact things which you are saying. Like for example, you said you shouted at someone and every now and then you keep doing that. Oh, and then you're saying I developed guilt over it. So this is one incident. Like this, in other sadhaks' lives, they'll be facing different kinds of incidents happening. Now, my request to you and all the other sadhaks is don't be so harsh on yourself. See, this is a process of self-discovery, self-development and self-realization. It's a gradual process. It's a lifelong process. Actually, births after births, the individual soul keeps striving for perfection. That is what is mentioned in the scriptures. So, just because you hear a few things now, you're putting very high standards on yourself. You're thinking, oh, I should not now shout at anybody. I should. That is not possible. If you don't shout at anyone, if you don't get angry at all, if you gain perfect control over your emotions, then you have become a sthita prajna. You don't need to do any sadhana. You don't need to attend these sessions. So why do you need to put such high standards for yourself? See, these are goals which you should happily strive to achieve, not get frustrated that, oh, I am not having that now. So, when you are doing your sadhana, as you are attending these sessions and all that, my request is, see, just lead a normal life. Don't have too much of high expectations about yourself, about your behavior, about your emotions. You're being so self-critical, self-judgmental. That is the reason why you're getting frustrated. Just relax yourself and be yourself. If you are a short-tempered person, you are a short-tempered person. So what? Keep doing the sadhana, keep applying these principles. Over a period of time, you will find the growth happening gradually. The change will happen. Oh, sir, 3 weeks I have heard Yoga Sankirtan. Now again I shouted at that person. Yes, that is what you have stored within yourself. So as you relax and see, first learn to accept what you are. That is the first sadhana. Whatever principles I am telling you now, this is what is sadhana. The sadhana material which is being given is to develop this attitude. When you have not developed that attitude, you are comparing yourself with others. Then you are saying, I am doing sadhana, yet the result is not coming. That statement itself is logically wrong. You are not doing the sadhana in essence. It's so, the sadhana is always holistic. And again, you can't master it at one go. As we keep progressing, you will learn the different subtleties of what sadhana is. So, the best way of functioning is just lead a normal life. Don't now put a tag on yourself, I am a sadhak. It's no doubt being told in these sessions, become sadhaks. That is to inspire you. But now that is the ego tries to tell itself, So there also the ego will try to quickly come and pollute the bhavana. Now I am a sadhak. As a sadhak now I should be this. See, don't be so rigid. Life is not, rigid rules. It's not made up of rigid rules. I should behave like this, I should behave like this. See, that kind of a rigidity will create so much of frustration. So you just be yourself, lead a normal life, incorporate these principles. Just do the daily sadhana, the Yoga Sankirtan and the other empowerment material. Every Sunday listen to this, enjoy this session, think about these points, see how you can practice them. Like a game, you just start doing that. So all these have become a source of stress for you, because you're being so harsh on yourself and you're keeping such high standards, impractical standards. In other words, what you're saying is, sir, I am not at the level of Lord Krishna, therefore I am highly frustrated. What is the meaning of that? So how do I let go? By developing this attitude. Just be yourself. Be happy being yourself. Okay, I have these faults, fine. That's why I'm doing my sadhana. That's why I'm coming for these Sunday sessions. As like a game, I will start practicing these principles, I'll apply them and I'll grow. At every step, you should learn to relax and enjoy the process. This is one important sadhana. So from now onwards, kindly stop saying, I am doing so much of sadhana, yet results are not coming. That attitude itself shows you're not doing the sadhana. Because the first step in sadhana is not to be result oriented. That is your first sadhana, no? So your understanding of sadhana is very limited. It's just it is just a set of rules which you have set for yourself. So come out of that. Okay, you shouted at someone. That happened. You didn't do it deliberately. Lost control. You shouted. Fine. Learn from that mistake. Bring that intention to purify yourself. If the guilt comes, release that guilt also when you're doing the yoga sankirtan. Move on. Slowly, slowly, the frequency of these kinds of incidents and the intensity of your negative emotions will start reducing. It doesn't happen at one go. From today, you are so angry, tomorrow now you become like Buddha. It doesn't happen like that. Okay. So by answering her question, I have also answered the doubts which many other sadhaks are also having. Think about these points, come back with more questions if you have. Even if you want to challenge my points, no problem, do so. All the answers will be given to you. Once you have started coming here, I am not going to leave you till you learn to relax, till you learn to observe yourself and you ease into the process of growth. Okay, so now we'll do the Nidyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my pranas, beyond my emotions and thoughts, lies my real self. My higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to refine my bhavana, I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme, offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today we had yet another powerful session, very powerful principles were given, powerful tools have been given to you. It is up to you to make use of them to make your life better. Okay? So before we close the session, one small announcement is there. This year, we are going to have the empowerment on enriching relationships. That is, increasing the emotional strength, emotional balance, and learn the secrets of relationships, the divine secrets. See, these empowerment programs are not decided by me. Whatever instructions I get in the meditation from the higher, I just implement them. So it was shown to me that this aspect is very much required for all the sadhaks at this point of time. So as you remember, the 12 aspects of life are there, out of which the relationships is a very important aspect. Relationship means between, let's say, partners, between friends, children, parents, children, parents, teenagers, the employees and the management, any kind of relationships. So the details will soon be out, and once all the details have been provided, you can go through them and I'll explain it further also. So from now itself you can start preparing yourself by doing your sadhana on a daily basis. Don't skip that. Once the registrations are open, then the special healing will be given for you to get prepared for the course. Okay? So next week we'll go into more depth of this verse. I'll see you then. Thank you very much. Hari Om.